Hey guys, it's Shue here, and today we're going to be doing what is a selection tutorial. How to make selections of certain areas, especially difficult to select areas. Okay, so let's talk about Lightroom's interface first of all. If you try to use an adjustment brush and say select the red tips of all of these flowers and want to change them to a different color, you'd be in for a hell of a lot of work and you could never get it right. So let's say you hand it over into Photoshop and you wanted to do the same thing. You can select color range and that could get it for you. But what if you wanted to select this yellow underneath or the green and make the leaves brighter? You know, you could come up with some hellacious layers of information that are selections and then have to use layer masks to control what's applied where. I mean, it can be a lot of work. Well, there's a plugin from Nik Software, which has been recently acquired by Google, called Viveza 2. It's fastly becoming one of my favorite tough spot softwares, right? If you got a difficult area you want to adjust and you don't want to put a lot of effort into it, you want to learn how to use Viveza. So we're going to hand this file off into Photoshop. That's Control E or Command E on the Mac, or right click and say Edit in Photoshop. Okay? So what that'll do is it'll send the file into Photoshop, and we'll go right here to Filter and select Nik Software and grab Viveza 2. And this will launch a standalone interface. Okay. Now just to give you a broad view of what's going on in this interface, if you want to zoom in or out, you can hold the Z key. If you hover this, it tells you the shortcuts. The select tool is A. The hand tool is the space bar. Okay. And then to zoom in is the Z key, and then if you hold down the Alt key with that selected, you'll get the minus. Okay, so you can zoom in or zoom out. Okay, so we're going to go back over and hit the A key and get back to our select tool. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. So this plugin has the ability to do global adjustments. I don't recommend doing any kind of global adjustments to your whole image inside of Viveza. You want to get that right in Camera Raw or inside Lightroom's processor. You know, when you first manipulate your files. The power is not being able to adjust things globally. Okay. Now this is the standard menu, and if you click this little drop down area, it'll give you the advanced selections. One of the neat things about this software is it breaks the red, green, and blue channel separately for you, and it gives you a slider for it. You can warm and cool the image, so it's kind of like a white balance adjustment. You can increase or decrease the shadows. Structure. Wow, this is a cool thing. This is like the clarity slider on steroids, but you don't get all that crazy grain with it. It's like ultra fine micro contrast. Okay, but again, I don't recommend that you do global adjustments, and if you are going to do a global adjustment, only use the structure. Do everything else in your raw converter. Here's where the power of this software is. It's adding a control point. Say, for example, I wanted to change the color of the red portions of these roses. It's real simple. I come in and I select that red portion of that rose, okay? And to see what's happening is right underneath this point there's a red dot. That's the colors that are going to be affected. To see exactly what's being affected, there's the color it's chosen. But if I come down here to my control point list and I click this check box, you can see that it's affecting everything in white is going to get an adjustment. Everything in black won't. Now you can see that it's making a lot of adjustment in deeper to the flower. And if this circle, this controls how much, if you look at the percentage, how much of the actual scene is being selected. Or I can isolate this selection and just bring it right down to a point, which is just that portion of the flower. I want to increase this some a little bit. But say, for example, I didn't want it to select anything but those reds. What I could do is I can add a second adjustment point, add an adjacent color that's not the same as the red, and it will kind of define my selection, which will be only the red. So I'm going to say add control point, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on that yellow, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to view that with this little preview box here, and I'm going to open it up and let it grab a bunch of that yellow. You notice how the tips are blacked out? It's not selecting that. So if I go back and I hide this one and I go to my original point, when I open this up, it's only going to affect the tips. You see how it's not going as deep into that as before? You see? By turning on that second adjacent control point, That's what that point not selected, that's what the point selected. Okay? So we can control what it's doing. Let's hide this for a second here. And let's go in and make an adjustment. Alright? So say if I wanted to change the saturation of that red, I can go down to the red channel and pull down on it, or I can increase. You see that? Let's do some brightness adjustments here to it. Let me open this up just a hair here. I want it to do more. And maybe I wanted to change the hue or the actual color. Do you see how I'm making it purple around those tips? Alright. Now let me just do this for the tutorial. I'll bring it to a kind of a shade of pink. I can take this same control point and move it over other areas of the image and have it do that same thing to them. So if I hold down the Alt key, and that's the Option key on the Mac, and I grab this, you'll see I get that little plus symbol there. If you look real close, there's a plus symbol. And if I drag that over to another portion of another flower, for example, it's going to add that same effect to that area. So let's come over here and we'll grab some of the reds on this one, maybe right here. You see that I'm added it there, and I'm going to come over here and grab it again and apply it down here. Alright. Now maybe I wanted to select the greens of this particular image. So we're going to add control point, right? And I'm going to click on the green. Okay. Now after a while you'll learn to trust what it has selected, which would be just a green. But for now, I'm just going to hold on the preview and show you. Okay, so we're going to bring this down a little bit here. Now it's just got the green. Okay, I'm going to maybe turn this off here. Okay, so now with that green selected, maybe I want to brighten up those greens a little bit. Alright, or I can darken them down, maybe make them hide away. Okay, whatever you want to do. And maybe I'll change the warmth of it a little bit, cool them off, make them a little brighter green there. And I'm going to come down here to the blue channel and I'm going to add some blues to it. Let me take some blues away, add some of that cyan in there. Alright, now if I wanted to change the color completely of those green leaves, that's real easy. I can come right here to this color picker, okay, and click on it. It's going to open up a color picker, and say if I wanted it to be this color green, okay, I click OK, and you can see that it applied it. Now it's gone a little crazy here, so let me back this off. Alright, and let me bring our brightness down a little bit. And there we have it. Now I've changed the color of the green and made it more neon. And then I can, again, apply this to different areas of the image just by clicking and dragging a control point. Do you see how easy this is to achieve a specific control to an area of the image? Let me grab this over here. Alright, and to here. And do you see how it kind of fades it off? Okay, so let me come up here and let's hide these control points. Okay. Let's look at a preview of before and after, side by side. There's a side-by-side preview. Let's rotate it this way so you can see. There's a lot of things you could do inside Viveza that you really can't do in other pieces of software without an extensive amount of work. Viveza has a lot more things to offer than what I showed you. However, this just gives you a taste of what you can do. I want to thank you all for taking time to visit today, and until next time, we'll see you soon.